Hello, Flandy friends. So today I'm just going to do a quick look into a game I'd mentioned previously, which is Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League. I did a mini rant discussing the overabundance of live games in an already saturated market, and that the live service industry as a whole seemed to be dying very quickly, save for a few standout titles. Which brings us to today's news that Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League looks like it's going to be pushed back till at least the end of the year. Apparently, I wasn't the only one upset at the direction that this game was taking, as the community at large made it very apparent that they just expected more from a Rocksteady's game title. For those of you that don't know, Rocksteady is the studio behind one of my favorite gaming series, the Batman Arkham games. Amazing visuals that still hold up today, tight and well-paced combat utilizing very good counter system, along with gadgets and combos to help keep combat interesting. It had unique looks into villains while still being true to their character, and had one of the most memorable boss fights I've encountered in a while with the Mr. Freeze boss fight. In it, you've got to take him down a few times to take him down, and each time you do a takedown, he learns and adapts. And that was just very cool and fitting for Mr. Freeze. The Arkham games are amazing in their own right, so when we heard that Rocksteady was going to take on Suicide Squad, we were thrilled. And then unfortunately, we saw the gameplay. I do want to preface this just by saying that I really believe that this game direction was done by the powers that be rather than Rocksteady as a whole, because I feel like if Rocksteady was able to make the game they wanted, this wouldn't be it. Reason I say this is because in this gameplay trailer, we're not really shown a game that Rocksteady is known for. In the previous Batman games, your character had good definition and good weight to them. What I mean by that is your punches, your kicks felt impactful. When you slammed into something, it felt very good. When you came crashing down from a glide and hit someone, it just felt really good. I don't know how to explain it. Other than that, it was just obvious that everything had a lot of thought and a lot of weight put into each action. Whereas on here, what we're ending up seeing is all the characters look very floaty, and for lack of a better word, this game just has a very arcade-esque feel to it. What I mean by that is you've got tons of different bosses. I don't know if I can use that really correctly, but we've got bosses and a mindless horde to just kind of jump around and murder, which just doesn't seem like a Rocksteady game. Combat seems less unique as well, as every character is using a gun for some reason. I mean, I don't get it. The entire point of having someone called Captain Boomerang is to use their boomerangs. And why is it that a super strong, nigh indestructible shark demigod is using a gun at all? He could literally crush these things with his bare hands. Hands? Fins? Flippers? I I don't actually know what he calls them.
And
Yes.
Thinking in all way. We do get glimpses of their personalities when they use their special abilities, and to their credit, they do look nice. But that's just not enough. While I'm not a fan of Marvel's Avengers game, at least every person in it felt unique, and they played their own way and had their own personality. Every character here seems to play like a Deadshot wannabe, and that's just not what I signed up for. All you're going to be doing is jumping or flying around, shooting various guns to mow down plenty of cannon fodder. Which, speaking of cannon fodder, this is more of a nitpick, or I don't know, I guess you could call it an actual critique, but I'm just not of a fan of games with glowing weak points. When I referenced the bosses earlier, what we get are helicopters and tanks with glowing weak points. And judging from the trailer, it does look like it's some sort of brainiac techno-organic virus, because we've got tentacles, and I'm assuming they latch onto things and alter them. But going around shooting glowing weak points feels like a decade-old game, and that's probably because this game has been in development since at least 2012. This goes back to my previous report, talking about games taking so long to come out, and yeah, this, I really feel like, is a classic example of that. Not only are we getting a game that has no need to be a live service game, one that has always on restrictions and a battle pass for some reason, even though it's either going to be single player or just co-op with friends. But we're getting concepts and ideas like the looter shooter and, oh, shoot the glowing purple orb thing to deal max damage, which just isn't what we're signing up for in this day and age as far as games go. It just feels like a game that's already old the moment it comes out, and I'm sure I'm not the only one who feels that way. In fact, I'm almost certain that's why it got pushed back. The problem is, since it's only getting pushed back to later this year, at best we might get some bug fixes and some polished up areas, which is good, don't get me wrong, but a few months is not enough time to overhaul the core concept of the game, which is what I think most people are actually hoping for. This game is the last time we get to hear the legendary Kevin Conroy voice Batman, and I really want this game to live up to that man's legacy. The sad part is I do think that Rocksteady could in fact do a wonderful Suicide Squad game, based solely on their work with the Arkham City games or Arkham franchise. If they had a more game that was more down to earth, focusing on these unique abilities of these characters, and dropped into a fleshed out world that is exciting to explore and full of Easter eggs for us as fans to enjoy, I think the fan base would love it. And I think it's possible. The issue is when you mix that desire or that design with the need to have players play endlessly and to get as much money out of it as possible with microtransactions and battle passes, those things just don't mesh well. So what we ended up instead is a looter shooter with some personality as shown in the cinematics, which do look good and up to Rocksteady's caliber, but the rest of it just isn't. The rest is just a hot mess, and it looks like it's entirely focused on just getting guns and getting skins and rinse and repeat. Personally, if I'm playing a Suicide Squad game, I want to focus on the Suicide Squad, not on trying to find a gun that has plus 5% extra damage to Batman-esque enemies, which is not a joke. That's actually in the gameplay trailer. There actually is a gun with that spec on there. And why? Just, aside from money, just explain to me why that's necessary. I don't know, Flanny friends. I hope that there's a world where we can see a Suicide Squad game that's fun and interesting and does justice to them. Because right now, I think that this Suicide Squad game is probably going to live up to its namesake and die pretty quickly. I know that's a somber note to end on, but that's all I've got for now, Flandy friends. I'll catch you next time, and as always, if you enjoyed this look into the gaming industry, please feel free to like and subscribe, as they would both really help my small channel to grow. Thank you, friends, and I'll see you later, okay? Bye!